Hi, everyone, and welcome to Me, You, and Who. In today's episode, I'm thrilled to have Heather join me as we explore her incredible journey through surrogacy. Heather opens up about what inspired her to become a surrogate, the in depth research she undertook, and the vital role of communication and support along every step of the way. From building meaningful relationships with intended parents to navigating the emotional roller coaster of pregnancy and the unpredictable challenges of delivery, her story is one of advocacy and profound human connection. Get ready to dive into a conversation that celebrates transparency, trust, and the beautiful, sometimes chaotic process of building families. Okay, so before we even get into just the beauty and the fun and the amazingness that was your journey, how did surrogacy even like become a thing in your life? How did you hear about it? When were you like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do?
I honestly I don't remember exactly how I heard about it. It really kind of started for me. I had a friend when I lived in Germany, God, 10 years ago. My
Oh
oldest
wow.
wasn't even born yet. And
Yeah.
she really struggled with pregnancy. It was not
Mhm.
easy for her. She was one of those who was sick all the time. She was in and out of the hospital. It ended up causing issues with her
Mm.
kidneys. Like she had a terrible time. And I
Oh.
remember, and I knew she wanted more than one. And my pregnancy with my first was like a breeze.
Yeah.
So I was just like, hey, granted, the first one can be misleading, but I was like, hey, if you don't want to carry because you're too afraid to, I mean, she
Yeah.
went through a lot of problems and had a lot of issues. Um, I kind of offered myself to her and I was like,
I
hey,
love
if
it.
you ever want to, take me up on it. She never
Yeah.
did. So that was fine. And then I moved back to Florida by my parents about 4.5 years ago. And before that, I had mentioned it to my ex-husband because we were done having children. We have four
Uh-huh.
of our own, and I did not need more.
Full
But
house. We're good.
correct. But pregnancy for me, I mean, granted, it wasn't always easy, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to have more of my own, but I think having one for someone else would be really cool.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned it to my ex-husband. He told me no. It was
Okay.
not something he wanted to be a part of. He
Yeah.
didn't want me to risk my life for anyone or for a stranger. So I was like, okay, that's kind of fair. So then me and him separated, moved back to Florida. I had a friend who had a stillborn at 36 weeks.
Oh gosh.
At that point, you don't know kind of what went wrong. Was it something with her? It ended up being the baby had an infection, but
Oh,
and once again, I kind of threw myself at her feet and was like, hey, if you don't want to do this again, I know you still want a baby.
yeah.
Let me know. Let me
Yeah.
know what the doctors say, and we'll take it from there. She ended up having a beautiful, healthy baby girl last year. So
Oh,
she
that's
didn't need me
amazing.
either, which is awesome. I'm so happy and so grateful for her
Yes.
that she
Yes.
was able to do that. Um, so yeah, so once she went through her doctors and they told her she was good to go, I was like, you know what? I brought it up to my now husband, and I was like,
Yeah.
hey, what do you think about this? Like, I
Yeah.
was told no before, so I respected that. I was like, but me and him, we have 7 kids between the two of us, so we definitely don't need more
Fuller
children.
house.
We definitely don't need more kids. And at that point, my youngest was 4.
Yeah.
So, like, I had a good break. I mean, mind you, I had my 4 and 5 years. So my body hated me by the end of the fourth kid. My body was like, woman, take a break. So
Yeah.
I had a good, healthy 4-year gap. I was like, I think I'm ready for this. I'm ready to commit. Because it's a lot to kind of process and go through. Your body have to go through it all over again. Now I'm in my 30s. Like, things
Sure.
hit
Just
different when you're in your
right.
30s.
Yeah. No, for sure. From the time that you were first thinking about it to now, it's like we've
Yeah,
lived
from
a lot
my
of life
early
since
mid
then.
20s to now in my 30s. Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah.
So, and when I brought it up to him, he's like, we ain't having kids. So if you want to do this, let's go.
I love
So
it.
once he gave me the green light and it was full sail from there. Like there was no stopping us.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, and I mean, it's amazing that you bring up, I mean, it really is important to have that support system. And,
Yes.
everybody we respect all of the views on it and everything, but I mean, at the end of the day, you have to have that support system.
Hmm.
And so that's amazing that you had that in your husband. So,
Yes.
once it was full sail from there, what did the process look like for you? Did you like what kind of research did you do? Or you were you, like what did that look like?
Well, it's one thing to be like, hey, I'm ready to do this. And it's a whole other thing to really understand what goes into it. And I had no clue. I
Yes.
had no, I had no clue. Even just the IVF process, like what the
Yeah.
couples have to go through, like it's mind boggling because, you know, my four, I didn't even have to think about. They just
Right.
boom. So it's
Yeah.
like to be on the other end of that was very humbling. It was very,
Mm,
um, eye-opening just how technical and how sciencey, like it's amazing. So
yeah.
when I started, I'm not gonna lie, I
Oh
googled
yeah,
my heart out.
sure.
I googled
Sure.
my
We got to
heart
start
out. Yeah, and mind you,
somewhere.
honestly, I we all know Google is like a 50-50 shot on whether you're going to get good information. But, I had, more or less kind of shopped around because I definitely did not want to do it on my own. Like I wanted to have that support. I wanted to make sure my bases were covered, but also an agency, they're going to think of things that I never would have dreamed of. And you guys did.
Mm,
You guys, I
mm,
mean, you walked me through every single part. And then even some of the things that we went through, I was like, like
mm.
it was beautiful. Like it was just fantastic to have that companionship, having Pashy with me every step, having you guys to be able to
Yeah.
answer all my questions. You guys were so transparent. Even your website, it's not like I had to go digging for anything. Like
Mm.
you had everything available at your fingertips, which I so appreciate. I don't always love being like, oh, you have to call us to have any kind of answer to any question. And it's like, okay, I understand talking to a live person, 100% helpful. But
Sure.
it's also nice to have reference or to be able to be like, hey, honey, come look at this real quick. So I
Yeah.
really loved that about you guys, how transparent you are, how helpful you are. You guys were available at all times. Um, you were so thorough with not only like, our consultation as far as like just starting, just the medical, the psychological, the legal, the everything was just
Mm.
so thorough. And I am someone I thrive on steps. Like I need a plan. I need a step by step
Yes.
action that I have to follow. That just makes my life so much more simple. And it's easy for me to follow and it's easier for me to understand. So you guys provided that 100%. And I was like, I can do this. Okay, cool.
Oh, I love that. And I love that you had that experience. And yes, shout out to Paishi. She is just, oh, she's so amazing.
Yes.
And yeah, no, for sure. But it's so true. I mean, to go from Google where, like you said, it's overwhelming. There's a 50-50
Hmm.
shot that it's even right
Right.
to get to, the spot where you were, where it was like, this is such a big process and I do need to know all of those things and not just the fun and happy but all of it, like being
Right.
transparent from the very beginning of like, hey, this we're going to take our time and checking, all those boxes and dotting our i's and crossing those t's
Hmm.
and everything. So I'm so glad that that was your experience because that truly is something that is just so important to us as a whole and really
Hmm.
is just so important to this industry and
Yes.
how it the experience that everyone should have when they're going through something
Yeah,
like this.
unfortunately, there's just too many shady people and too many. I mean, we all heard about the escrow debacle that happened last year. Like, there's just so much bad out there. It can be hard to weed out the good, and and it's sad for those who want to do it. It can be hard for them to
Mhm.
find you guys. Like, so
Oh
I think it's
yeah.
so awesome how you guys kind of touch on every platform to be able to make yourself more accessible, and I think that's awesome.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And thank you. Yes, no, I mean, yes, I agree. It's a vulnerable population. Like it is people desperate to
Hmm.
grow their family, and it's so unfortunate that that can be taken advantage of in such a wrong way. And
Yes.
so I love that for you. I love that you found us, first of all. But I love, again, thank you for all of your kind words, because yes, that is such a passion, of ours to bring an ethical, clear, and
Yes.
just good experience for everybody, as they're going through it. So I'm so glad. Going back to the very beginning, um, tell me about the matching process. How was that for you? I mean, we got through, like, we did all of the, okay, we've got to go through your medical records. We've got to,
Hmm.
all of the fun stuff. I mean, we got to even
Yep.
just make sure, like, we're good to go there. You
Of
finally
course.
got there. It's time for that matching process. What was that like for you?
Um, I don't want to say it was overwhelming because again, you guys laid it out very easy for me to kind of follow, but it
Yeah.
is like nerve-wracking. Like it
Oh,
is
for
like, what
sure.
if someone doesn't like me? Because on one hand, I don't really care about people's opinions, but also like I'm doing this to help someone. So I want them to like me. I want to connect with
Yeah.
someone because this is not just a 9 month to a year and a half journey, depending on, what the circumstances are, but like this is hopefully a lifelong journey. Like this is hopefully
Mm.
something that we get to kind of grow together through.
Yeah.
So like I really wanted to make sure that one, we captured that, two, that I was able to kind of resonate that with someone, with
Mhm.
another couple. So yeah, I was a little nervous. And
Yes.
I wanted, I don't want to give too much information, but then it's also like, someone could take one look at me and be like, oh, she's got tattoos and piercings. I don't want that. And that's totally fine. We
Yeah.
all, I don't care what anyone says. We all judge a book based on its cover. So like that probably was one of the scarier things for me just because it just was in my mind. But it
Yeah.
was, I loved and appreciated the fact that I got to pick first. That it was kind
Mm.
of how what I was comfortable with first. It wasn't like, you guys threw a bunch of surrogates at a couple and was like, hey, pick one. Like, I loved
Yeah.
how I kind of get to review profiles and I got to look at medical records and kind of take into account, someone's circumstances, whether it be personal or medical.
Yeah.
Um, and I really I was actually honestly blown away by that. I was like, "Oh, I get to pick.
Mm.
I get to
Yeah.
pick. I
You
get to
get to
pick."
pick. Yes.
Wow. I thought that was like, I honestly, again, not something you really think of when you start this. So being told that and explained that, and then of course filling out my own profile and making sure that, I explain who I am as a person, because I don't want, there shouldn't be any surprises. Like I wanted to make sure I was transparent, but I also didn't want to scare anyone away. So like it was just being able to kind of go through the profiles, being given all the information I could ever want was comforting. Yeah, I think it was really cool. I loved being given the option. I loved that it was my pick first. I appreciated that
Yeah.
so much. And
And
luckily
within
for
that
me, it
pick,
really
it
worked.
was, yeah. And
Yeah.
within that pick, it was your parameters too. Like there's,
Yes.
yes,
What I was
it's,
comfortable with,
mhm,
what I was looking for in surrogates. Yes. It wasn't like I was handed, you know, a
5
couple or
random profiles.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like
Mhm.
they resonated with me more for my situation.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So as you're going through all of those profiles and you're looking through everything, how did you know that the intended parents that you were looking at, what were kind of how did you know that it was right for you?
Whew. Proximity helped, honestly.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Let's be realistic. That really helped that they were in the same state as me.
I mean, 7
Um,
kids.
yeah. So that helped. Um, but I just when I read through like how they got together, how they met, kind of how they found out that they weren't able to have their own, kind of the trials and tribulations she had to go through as far as even just getting eggs. Like
Yeah.
it just that kind of stuck with me, but also I really appreciated um, I'm not religious, but I really appreciated how they were and how they kind of put their
Mm.
faith in something higher for them. Um, and I think that you kind of need it with something like this because not everyone gets a happy ending. And I think for going forward, I thought that was really important for them. Um,
Yeah.
because while we were very blessed and very, very lucky as far as essentially, one and done. Like, we did the one transfer and that was the baby we had. Like, that does not
Mm.
happen. Like, whether that was a tribute to me or to them, I don't, or just by the grace of God, like, I thought that was really important and it just kind of stuck with me. And I don't know, it was almost like I was just drawn to them. And I just I read their
Oh.
profile, and granted, I read, I think, five at one time.
Uh-huh.
Um, and they just stuck out the most, and so they were my first choice and they chose me.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, and so it helps, like you read that profile and and it's so great. Everything can look great on paper. And then
Yes.
but we have that match meeting for a reason. And,
Yes.
you get to, and for those that don't know, a match meeting is whenever everybody meets virtually, guided by our, matching coordinator. And that's really whenever you guys kind of get to just get to know each other. It's like that really cute blind date, but everybody's talking about a uterus.
It's a good icebreaker.
And yeah, it's a great icebreaker. But yeah, and so you can have that feeling whenever you're reading, just a profile, but then you really get to kind of either kind of solidify those feelings, I feel like.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I think we were all so nervous and so excited
Oh,
too, though. Like, I mean, the four of us, it was obviously me, my husband, and then the intended parents.
yeah.
And just the four of us all getting together the first time, we were so excited. It was really funny because both of our husbands are Richard. So it was just kind of funny how it was almost like we're meant to be. All right, cool. Awesome. It was
Oh,
just, it just, it clicked. And
yeah.
we were kind of looking for the same things. Once again, as far as communication and expectations and
Mm-hmm.
making sure we have the hard conversations, because again, it's not always something that people want to talk about. It's not
Yeah.
always something that, you know, maybe some people don't even want to deal with it until they have to. And that's not really smart going into something like this. So being able to have that safe space, to have those hard conversations, to have those conversations about expectations, whether it be what me and my husband were looking for as far as afterbirth, like how do we want a relationship, do we want to keep in contact, do I want
Yeah.
to be able to get pictures of the baby or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be, social media, are the intended parents okay with posting,
Sure.
um and then of course the really tough stuff, what if something's wrong, what do we
Mm-hmm.
do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I never not this may not be the most eloquent way of putting this, but I never not felt comfortable. Like I
Yeah.
felt like I wasn't going to be judged, and we were able to work through everything that we needed to, but still had complete understanding and complete respect for one another. And I thought that was
Mm.
very, very helpful as far as our process and our relationship went, even just from the very beginning.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you're hitting on some really great things because, at like I think like you said from the beginning, right? Like you kind of in your head are like, yeah, I love being pregnant. I'll go be pregnant. That's totally fine. And then all of a sudden, whenever you learn more and more, you're like, oh wait, we really have to think about,
Hmm.
we do have to think about what termination views are, or what
Hmm.
we want post delivery and
Yep.
relationship and those nitty gritties and
Yep.
things like that. And I think, I love what you said as far as obviously faith is so important to so many people. And I really love that you all aren't necessarily aligned in the sense of, just where you each are,
Hmm.
but there's like you said, there's this mutual respect
Hmm.
of like, I can so appreciate it about that about you,
Hmm.
or, and vice versa, and still, be able to hear one another and get to know each other. And I just think that's so beautiful because I know, especially in this process and having been in that education role, there's a lot of like little things that sometimes people, really, really hyper focus on. And at the end of the day, exactly like you're right. If there's trust, if there's communication,
Yeah.
especially in that very beginning. I mean, that's why
Yep.
that matching process is so important.
Yes, I agree 100%.
Yeah. We'll get right back to the show, but I wanted to take a moment to let you know that for the past 18 years, we at Egg Donor and Surrogate Solutions have had the honor of walking alongside women who didn't just dream about making a difference. They said yes. Yes to helping someone else's dream come true. Yes to helping create a happy family by becoming a surrogate. Whether you're just curious about surrogacy or ready to take the next step, we'd love to support you. You can download our surrogate compensation guide or schedule a quick 15-minute call with our education team at createahappyfamily.com. Our agency's promise is to give you the autonomy to choose the family you help and set your compensation as you promise to give a parent the greatest gift one can give, a child of their own. It's okay to have questions. This is a big decision. But if you've ever wondered whether surrogacy might be a fit for you, this is our invitation to find out. All right, let's get back to the show. Well, we do know it was like I mean, the matching process obviously worked out beautifully and it was like magical.
Yes,
I mean, you did, spoiler alert, it worked the first time. We absolutely
it
loved
did.
that. But as you were getting there,
Hmm.
and there's so much to the process before we even get to that fun part. As you were
Facts.
getting there, what was that like as you were building that relationship with the intended parents? Because I know just that relationship factor was so important for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, throughout it, again, I feel like communication is just so important, and not just in relationships, just in life, to be honest. Like,
Oh gosh, yeah.
we should, you know, if I don't know what you're thinking or you don't know what I'm thinking and you have, concerns or you're apprehensive about something, like let me know. Because
Yeah.
either I can help you through it or I can talk you through it. Like this is your first time. This is not my first time. Granted, this is my first time, again, the IVF process, the shots, the pills, the patches. That was all new. Um,
Yeah.
but pregnancy can be really scary, especially for someone who has been through so much, so many challenges and probably some trauma. Like
Yeah.
it's not it, it's so easy to say, oh, put yourself in someone's shoes, but it's another thing to actually be going through it with someone.
Hmm.
And while I may never have gone through what she gone through, I can do my best to assuage her fears and to just be like, hey, there's only so much we can do, only so much we can control, and we're just going to worry about right now. And I
Yeah.
tried my best to do that with her. I told her, like I said, from the very beginning, we swapped numbers, we were texting,
Yes.
as far as, traveling down to her for, my medical evaluation, for the transfer, every time I was in town, we would get together and have dinner, we were meeting up, we were talking, like I said, we're constantly texting. Um, so like, my biggest thing was I wanted to be a really important support person for her. Um,
Mm.
because I think, and this was just kind of my thought process, is like surrogacy and the whole journey of it. Yes, it is beautiful, but it can also be very disconnecting because
Mm.
she's not carrying her own child. A stranger is essentially doing it for her. So while, yes, I was hours away from her and I was, you know, growing the baby essentially, she's still the mom, and I still wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that she was as much a part of the journey and the experience as I could possibly have her be without physically doing it. So
Yeah.
that was, something that I think that I tried my best at doing. And she, there was definitely points where she would get really nervous, she would get really
Sure.
anxious. Um, and, especially with all the medical stuff, there was a lot more testing that we had to do this time around, not just pre, but also during.
Yeah.
and she didn't understand most of the jargon that goes on with it. So
Oh gosh,
I,
yeah.
yeah, so like while, we would FaceTime every appointment and I would have her on the phone and she would hear the doctor and then literally after she'd be like, "What did he say?"
Oh, sweet
So
thing.
I made
Yes.
sure I explained every single detail to her. Like, this is why we're doing this. This is what this means. This is, where the concern is this, or we're just keeping an eye on this. Like, I
Yeah.
made sure she understood. And if she still had questions, then I would bring the doctor back in and be like, hey, you need to better explain this for her. And at the end
Right.
of the day, I I made sure that she was aware that I, of course, was aware. Because again, I feel like this could also be another fear that isn't talked about a lot. It is their child. It is not
Mhm.
mine. So I wanted to make sure she knew, and I heard her as far as like these choices are yours. While yes, it is my body. Um, this is your baby. So if you
Mm.
want another ultrasound, we will do it. If you want another conversation with the doctor, I will call that doctor and we will get on the phone. Like I wanted to make sure that she felt seen and heard throughout the whole thing. And I tried my best at doing that for her.
Yeah.
Because again, I didn't want her to not feel comfortable throughout it all. So yeah, I think
Oh.
doing that from the very beginning was just something that I kept in mind and I tried to carry throughout. And I think we did that pretty well because I mean, we still talk almost every
Oh,
day.
I love that. I love
So
that. Well,
yeah.
and it's beautiful that I mean, essentially you were an advocate for her.
Yeah.
Like you once you get past, like you said, like the IVF process and kind of the unknown for you, and and of course you had, you each were being a support to one another through that, and of course you had
Yes.
Pacey and your husband, and I know the nurses and just everybody's there.
Hmm.
Hey, we're doing this step by step, and all
Yeah,
of
and
those
she's
things,
just
but
sitting home with her husband. Like yeah, she doesn't have all that. Yeah.
right,
Yep.
right. And so it's beautiful that in those situations where it was like, yeah, no, let me call the doctor back in here, and we're going to make sure that this is explained to you, because I do want you to know
Hmm.
and feel seen and heard, exactly like you
Yep.
said. And oh my gosh, that's, and again, just that mutual respect for one another. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that's
Yes, because once
gorgeous.
if you do, I feel like if you don't have that from the beginning, it's hard to try to build it as you go. Because of
Mhm.
course it's going to grow, but if you don't have that foundation set, you're kind of scrambling for it the whole time. And I just wanted to make sure, again, I think clear expectations and just having that communication, having that honesty. Granted, I
Yeah.
probably talk more than I should sometimes, but I think it's really important to just kind of just get it all out there. Like, don't hold back. I mean, there was a lot of times, there was definitely times I called her crying. Like, there was times
Oh.
where I was just emotionally drained and I was anxious or I was just, being pregnant and just emotional.
Sure,
So there was
sure.
times where I called her and I was just having a meltdown and she's like, "We're going to be okay. You've got this." And then there was other
Oh,
times where I'm like, "Hey, you maybe didn't sound okay, or maybe I'm getting like the vibes via text message because of course we got to try to read between the lines
sure,
of
sure.
you seem like a little apprehensive. What's going on? What are you thinking? What's in your head?" And she would be like, "Hey, I'm really nervous about this." And I'm like, "Okay, well, let's talk about it." So we worked
Mm,
through a lot of that together, but I also was like, "Hey, if you're not sure, reach out to Pashi. Reach out to your IVF doctor. Like Google. If you're not sure, Google it. Like, there's so much information out there. Granted, there's probably too much information out there, but you know, utilize what you got.
you have
Granted,
that team
I
for a reason. You built
I
that
am there
team.
for you if you need me, always, but I want to
Yes.
make sure like you're not just like, oh well, Heather said,
Yeah,
get what you need
yeah.
and don't be afraid to.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I mean, it really, again, that open communication that you all had with each other. And I mean, ultimately, you guys were building just that gorgeous foundation of trust,
Yes.
and knowing that you both just, even if it was something small, at the end of the day, you still had each other's best interest in mind. Um,
Yes.
and that, I mean, that's important. That's what matters. It can be so easy in this process, I think, to get wrapped up in, um, I don't want to say small things because they feel big,
Yes,
and I
in the
mean they
moment.
are big in the moment, they
Hmm.
are big.
Right.
But to not let those things dictate the overall, you know, and forgetting the beginning and the reason why, and again, you guys just, you did such a great job of, like you said, being so forthcoming in the beginning so
Hmm.
that you could have that trust and that respect. And I mean, ultimately, that gorgeous communication,
Yeah.
that really just, I mean, it makes it. Oh, it makes it.
Yes. Yes, it really did.
Oh, I love that. I love that. What would you say was maybe some of the, like, your a big surprise? Or if you did you have any surprises about this journey as a whole?
Not gonna lie, the IVF clinic, when we were starting the process, threw us for some loops as far as like testing goes.
Mm.
And even, my intended parents were kind of like, they're driving us nuts. But Pashy did a
Oh.
really great job of making sure we got everything done that we needed to. Wasn't the smoothest, but we got there. And I still feel
Yeah.
like we got there really quick. Like I feel like for us, it was just meant to be. Like it was like dominoes. Like we were just knocking things out left and right. Like it just went really smooth for us. And I'm like, I was talking back to her, I'm like, is it normally like this? I feel like this is a little crazy. And she's like, no, it's not. And I was like, okay, well, I'll take that as a positive and we'll just keep going. So, I mean, we just
Oh.
kind of rode the tide. Like we just rode it and we
Yeah.
were like, we're just, we're kind of on a high and we're going to stay on a high and we're just going to keep going.
I
Um,
love it. But I love that you had
yeah,
patience there to, like, to keep things
yeah,
going and to follow up with and to
yeah,
be able to ask that question, is this normal? Like,
yeah.
you had that.
Yeah, and I'm the type of person who if something needs to be done, I'm going to make sure it gets done. Like there
Mhm.
is no waiting. I have no time for games. I have no time for the back and forth that some doctors' offices can try to play with you. Like if we need a test done, if we need an ultrasound done, I will, okay, cool, we got it done. Cool. Click. All right, I'm calling and I'm getting this figured out.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
am not one to waste time. I feel like that's just, this is not a cheap endeavor for the couple. And so I tried to keep
Yeah.
that in mind as far as time, because time is money. And so I tried to be very efficient as I could to just keep things moving,
Mm.
making sure we were checking all the boxes. Yeah, the process itself, like I said, the IVF clinic was a different debacle, but we got everything done we needed to. As far as the pregnancy goes,
Through you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, big thumbs up.
Yes, and I'm also sarcastic. Like it it did hit different. And again,
There
I
you
don't know
go.
if it's because I'm in my 30s now, so we all know everything hurts after you're 30, but it
Yes.
just, and I was like, I don't know if it's because there's such a gap between my last. I don't know if it was because of all the hormones that I was on, what exactly that all does to you and
Yeah.
internally. Um, but yeah, pregnancy hit different this time around. It
There you
was, here
go.
I am talking to them and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what happened last time and this happened. And then I'm like, yeah, I don't know anything. Um, I don't
Oh.
know what I was talking about because this is not the same. Like my
Yeah.
nausea lasted all the way up until 22 weeks, whereas
Oh,
before I was like
mama.
done at 12.
Yes.
So I was just not feeling it. I got gestational diabetes this time around.
Mm.
That that was the one phone call that I made to her where I was just broken down because I almost felt
Oh.
like my body was failing me. And it was hard. It was really hard to bear. And it's while I was able to maintain it 100% through diet, which I was very lucky in that
Mhm.
respect,
Yeah.
it was still a lot to juggle. And it was something I'd never had to do before, so I had to learn. I did a lot of
Sure.
Googling, which again is very, I don't know if I'd recommend it for gestational diabetes because there's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much
yeah, yeah.
misinformation out there. But luckily, I had a coordinator who had also been through it. So Pashi was a really good resource for me. And she was a very good soundboard for me too, because I was able to be like,
Mm.
I'm so frustrated. I'm so hungry. Like,
Sure.
I bought pasta. Like, so, but it was also really cool while that was different. And while I had the gestational diabetes, it was almost like my my body responded to keep me sane. So like I wasn't having those cravings anymore. I was losing weight, which the doctors weren't mad about. So like I was able again to maintain. I was on my diet like you couldn't
Mm.
believe, even to the point where my husband's like, "You can cheat." I'm like, "No, I can't. No,
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 no.
cannot. No, no. We are, this is what I'm eating, this is what we're doing, that we cannot go here anymore. I cannot smell
Yes.
this. Like, no." So
I can't
it
smell
was,
it.
I was like, we're only gotta, however, I think by that point, by the time I found out, it was like 12 weeks.
Sure, sure.
So
Like I can do
I
this
was
for
like,
12 weeks.
yeah, you can do this for 3 months. Like, we'll make it. Um, so yeah, so pregnancy really hit different. I've never been so tired in my life.
Oh,
I was
sure.
exhausted. I was just I would text the parents sometimes and I'm like, I just went to sleep. Like
I've
12
been
hours
so
is not
tired.
enough. 12 hours is not enough. Like I was a zombie. Naps were my best friend. So
Yes.
it definitely hit different, but I also can't wait to do it again.
Oh my gosh,
So I
I love
am that crazy person who is like, wow, this was a roller coaster of emotions and everything. It was
that.
also amazing. And I really, I can't, I didn't not like it. So I feel like with how we were able to do it the first time, my parents want to do a sibling.
Yeah.
So my intended parents want to do a sibling. So,
Oh.
so yeah, so we're gonna do that at the end of the year.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Ah, I love that so much. But I think I want to go back to something that you said.
Yeah.
That you had that when you found out about the gestational diabetes
Hmm.
and you were like, my body's failing me. And I mean that feeling, I know so many people can resonate with that. And then yet at the end of the day, I hope you kept in mind like your body was doing something so amazing that
Yeah.
I mean, isn't possible for everyone.
Right.
And so the fact that, you were like, I can do this for 12 weeks. I'll have pasta later. And you were like, I
Hmm.
mean, just on it. It was
Yeah.
like, I mean, you did. You grabbed the bull by the horns and you were like, this is new and different and we're gonna go for it. And I love the fact that you that you did have Peishi for, just to be not only just to be a sounding board, but a resource and
Yes.
someone to guide you through the craziness of Google and not
Hmm.
having to rely on that and just things like that.
Yeah, it's so easy to spiral with
Yeah.
I mean a diagnosis like that. Essentially it is, because now unfortunately that is something that I have to keep in the back of my mind for essentially the rest of my life, because I'm now at risk for type 2 diabetes as I get
Mhm.
older.
Mhm.
So it is definitely something that has forced me. Granted, it's not the worst thing to be healthier. Not the worst thing.
It's not the
Is
worst
it
thing,
is
but
it the most convenient? No.
no.
But so yeah, so like that was definitely my initial gut reaction. Was I felt like my body was failing me. I felt like I had failed them, because my mind
Mm.
immediately, because mind you, me and the intended mom, we had been talking about second journey since before transfer.
Oh
So
my gosh,
like,
I love that.
yeah, so like that is something that, and I was like, oh my God, is this going to stop me from being able to do this again? I was terrified. I was
Sure.
really afraid of the consequences, the implications. Like I was afraid. And then I was seeing a nurse practitioner for most of the pregnancy,
Uh-huh.
and she was telling me my second kid was a C-section, and then the two after that were VBACs. I
Mhm.
had a vaginal birth after cesarean. So she was telling me, because I had gestational diabetes, that I wasn't a candidate for VBAC anymore. I was going to have a C-section.
Mm.
And I was not someone who had a good experience with a C-section.
Sure.
I was dead set against having one. Obviously, if it is medically necessary, for me and the baby, obviously I would do what I have to do,
Of
but
course. Of
I
course.
would never
Absolutely.
volunteer for it. So
Sure.
I was like, I was having a panic attack
Yeah.
and I was freaking out. And I was like, but if I'm if I can control it, if I'm not on medicine, how does gestational diabetes equate to me not being able to have a vaginal delivery? Like, I
Did you
don't.
feel like you were able to ask that question?
So she told me one thing, and then I met with the actual OB the next appointment, and I talked to him, and he looked at me like I was crazy. He's like, "We've had two successful VBACs. Why wouldn't we do a third?" And I'm like, "Oh, thank God.
Oh,
Hallelujah." I
yes.
immediately felt such relief. Like, I had the whole chart. I was pricking my finger 4 times a day. I was
Mm,
tracking everything, my meals, like, and my numbers were great.
yeah.
So he's looking at my numbers and he's like, yeah, we don't, unless there's like an emergency that happens, we're not doing a C-section on you. I'm like, okay,
Mm.
okay, I'll take it. Thank you.
Oh, I
So,
love
like,
that.
the initial panic though was real. It was
Well,
real.
sure. It's easy to
Yeah.
spiral. It's easy to spiral, especially
Yes.
with something. I mean, I know you were so like. I mean, you were scared. I
Yeah.
mean, you had a bad experience, and I do appreciate you saying at the end of the day, you are going to do the thing that is
Yes. At
safest
the end of
for
the day, I
you
will
and
do
baby.
right. At the end of the day,
Yes,
I will do whatever you tell me to. I will do what we have to have a healthy baby. Like, and to keep me
absolutely.
healthy, I will do whatever we need to. And but it took me, like you said, it's big in the moment because it was big in the moment. But after
Yeah.
a couple days, I was like,
Yeah.
we will do this. We got this. And
Yeah. Absolutely.
that was just kind of it.
But that's great that you stayed curious though, and you asked
Yeah.
the question, and you were like, I know I'm going to again that trust that your intended
Yeah.
parents had in you of I know she's going to do exactly what is correct and right for just the health
Yes.
of her and baby, just that
Yeah.
alone, and having that trust at the end of the day, but getting to still be curious and to say, but wait, I really, 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 really want things to go a certain way. Can we
Hmm.
please have this conversation? That's so
Yeah.
important. That's so
Yeah.
important.
Oh,
Yeah.
I 100% agree because again, I think it can be easy to focus more on yourself, and there's more than just me involved in this, and it's not just a journey, like it just involved in this whole process. Like there
Yeah.
was more than just me. So like I wanted, while I was freaking out and like, hey, I really don't want a C-section. I'm really hoping I don't have to be on medicine. I'm hoping I can control it with diet and I'll do everything I need to do. I made sure the whole time I was communicating all of those things, all of those feelings, whether they were a little overwhelming or not, to them and to her, just so that one, if she had any, she could, let me know so that we can kind of talk it together. But also,
Yeah.
like, I wanted her to know, and I wanted her to make sure she was still comfortable with me knowing that, like, hey, I got this. Like, I am not going to let you down. I'm not going to drop the ball. Like, there is a lot of risk. Like there's not just me involved, there's a baby involved. Like, and obviously the end game is to have a healthy baby that they get to go home with. So, making sure that we talked about those things, and that, hey, I will take care of this as much and as thorough as I can, while still having all the conversations, of course, with the doctor and the dietitian and Pashi and everyone involved.
Yeah.
Making sure that we did all of that. That
Hmm.
was just kind of something that I tried to do with them.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, you guys had built up such a great communication with each other, and the fact that you were comfortable enough, both of you were comfortable enough to be able to have those, just raw and honest conversations and be able
Hmm.
to, express your feelings in that way, but in a safe, respectful, like, and hey, thank God we have a team with us that can help
Yes.
us and be supportive to us as we're figuring this out. So, no, it's
Yes.
beautiful. I mean, again, like those are the things that they make a journey. They make a
Yes.
journey, and they build just that connection, and it's
Hmm.
it's so worth it at the end whenever you have that. So for
Yeah.
sure. Okay, tell me about delivery day, my favorite day.
Okay. Well, first of all, we had the hurricanes.
Oh, bless. Let's throw in a natural disaster into it. Yeah.
Two back-to-back hurricanes.
Oh.
So the first, God, what was I, 32 weeks when the first one hit?
Mm.
And I had because I was gestational diabetes, I had to do the stress tests every week. You know, they
Right.
were monitoring, she was measuring bigger. So they were trying to keep track of that to make sure like she didn't get too big, or if she was getting too big, that we had a plan in place as far as how we were going to handle that. Because of
Right.
course that would mean I would need a C-section if she obviously
Right.
got too big. So we were having those conversations. We were doing, dotting all the T, well, dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's.
There it
We were
is. There
doing all
it
the
is.
things. And so the first hurricane hit and my OB closed and I had a
Oh
stress
no.
test and an ultrasound. And I was like, you can't close on me because I need these things done. I need to make sure the baby's good.
Yeah.
So I called the OB and I coordinated with them and they sent me to the hospital for testing. So we did all that.
Okay.
That was at 32 weeks. Then 34 weeks hit and another hurricane came through. And between the pressure of the storm and I want to say it was a full freaking moon too, I was having such labor pains at
Oh
34
no.
weeks.
Oh no, no,
And I was
no.
like, this is not, I do not accept this. This is not how this is going to happen. So,
I do
like,
not accept
I do not accept this. We are not having this baby at 34 weeks. We are not doing this right now. So, like they were getting intense, they were getting close, and I'm like, I'm not gonna message her and freak her out because I refuse to believe this. So I took some Tylenol and I went to sleep. I was like, we're not doing this,
Oh
we're
my
gonna sleep through
gosh.
this. So luckily I woke up and there was no problems, it went away. But I had talked to the OB about it, like I had another appointment like just 2 days later,
Sure.
and she's like, I can't tell you how many people came in labor during the storm.
During the storm? Oh,
And
I'm
I'm like,
sure.
I was not going to be one of those. I was like,
Oh
I was
my
very close to coming
gosh.
in. I was like, but I refused. And I told her, I told the baby, no, we're not doing this. And I kept going. So,
Yes.
yeah, so we had that happening. And then at 36 weeks, I was already I was feeling so much pressure. Like she was
Mm,
low, like I
okay.
was waddling bad. Um, yeah, it was a little funny to look at. But so I I had gone into the doctor and I know typically at 36 weeks they don't want to check you, but I did ask the nurse practitioner. I'm like, "Look, I feel like she is I feel like she is there. Like,
Yeah,
can you
sure.
just make sure we've still got time because, she still has a couple weeks to cook." I mean,
Yeah,
technically I know she would be okay if she came out now, but I'd rather her not. So
sure.
they checked me. I was already at 2 centimeters and they could touch her head.
Oh
So
my.
so she's like, "Yeah, don't walk, don't go on walks anymore. Let's just relax. Let's just chill on the couch." And it's like, okay. She's like, let's just get you to like 37, 38 weeks. I was doing all the things I was supposed to be doing. And then, like, right at like 37 weeks, I hadn't progressed any further, which was good. And she kind of went back up. So that was good.
Yeah.
And then, but like between that 37 to 38 week range, like the Braxton Hicks were getting bad. And
Oh.
it got to the point where I like hadn't slept in 2 days, and we were
Oh
like right
gosh.
at that 38-week cusp where she's technically full term. So I'm like, I was miserable. I was tired. I just wanted to sleep and I couldn't sleep. And I was all the things. I was getting cranky. My husband was like, can we just have a baby so you can be back to normal because you're being a little crazy? I couldn't. Like, when you're right at the end of something and you're so close you
You're
can taste
so
it,
close. Yes.
but I all of a sudden was like, I need a bagel, I need pasta, I need all the bad things. Like it was like everything hit at once. So I was going a little psycho. Um, but yeah, so I did end up going into the hospital because the contractions were not going
Right.
away.
You were like, this, I don't think this is Braxton Hicks anymore. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right. So we went in, they did an ultrasound. She was measuring 2 weeks ahead. So she was
She's
technically
ready.
measuring at like, yeah, she was measuring at
Yeah.
39, 40 weeks. So they're like, she could come and she would be fine. So they had me, they did a stress test. They had me walking the halls because I hadn't progressed any further. I was still like at a 2,
Hmm.
but my blood pressure was going all over the place. And I
Oh
hadn't had any blood pressure
no.
issues. The blood work came back and they're like, by this point, I was already at the hospital like 4 or 5 hours,
Yeah.
just
Okay.
chilling. And they're like, you're on the cusp of preeclampsia.
Uh-oh.
They're like, you're
We don't love
right
that word.
on the border. So we're going to keep you and you're having a baby. Well, the preeclampsia part sucks. I'm okay with that. Like I'm fine. Like we'll do some,
We
we'll
loved
get the show on
hearing
the
the
road.
we're gonna stay. Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I loved hearing that you were admitting me. So I, of course, got on the phone with them and I'm like, hey, mind you, of course, the entire time I'm at the hospital, I'm texting them, telling them what's
Sure.
happening
They
every
know what's
time
going on.
the
Yeah, yeah,
nurse
yeah.
was in, the doctor was in, like I was giving her updates. And when they gave me the green light, I was like, you need to get up here because it was a 6.5 hour drive for them.
Oh gosh.
So I was like, you guys need to leave. And the grateful thing about it, like what I was grateful about, was that she was already like, well, I already showered, I already packed my bag just in case, because I had a feeling. She's like,
There
so
we
we're getting in the car
go.
now and we're leaving. So I made sure to communicate with my OB, like, hey, granted, of course, they knew the whole time that I was a surrogate and that there were parents who lived, south of us and blah, blah, blah. And so I told them, I said, hey, they're on their way. They won't be here till 8 o'clock tonight. So we can't do anything that pops this baby out before 8.
There
So
you go.
he's like, okay. So what we'll do is we won't start your Pitocin until 8 o'clock. He's like, we'll just, if you want to keep walking, keep walking. He's like, but we're going to keep you here to monitor you, obviously.
Sure.
He's like, but we won't start anything until later. I was like, okay, I was okay with that.
Yeah.
The part where I went wrong, I got the epidural too early.
Oh,
They kept coming in
Heather.
and asking me, and I was like, I was uncomfortable, but it wasn't bad. And then we were like 2 hours away from them getting there. So I was like, well, if we start it now, then we can just start the Pitocin and hopefully things get a moving. Because that's kind of what I did with all my other kids. Like, I wasn't like crazy. I was like 4 5 centimeters dilated, of course, for them to admit me. But like once I got the Pitocin, like it went pretty quickly after that.
I gotcha.
Once I got the epidural, they put me on a little bit of Pitocin to keep the contractions going because obviously, as you know, once you get an epidural, sometimes it can slow things down.
Right?
Um, so I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I don't know why I thought I could still compare this pregnancy to my past pregnancies, but I made that choice. I was disillusioned and I made that choice and I got the epidural. So I got the epidural. The parents arrived. They started the Pitocin and it was like a trickle. And he's like, oh, we're going to start this and we're going to start slow. I'm like, why are we starting slow? Why? I've already
Right.
been here like 10 hours.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
He's like, well, because of the C-section, but I'm like, my C-section is like 8 years old. It's not gonna rip. If it hasn't ripped yet, it's not going to. Like, what are we doing here? So I was getting a little frustrated, but I also was like, I could use some sleep. So I wasn't totally upset about it. So we were all, fighting for chairs, and my poor husband fell asleep at the table like this, like a dead person. I felt so
Oh,
bad, but he
sweet
was such a
guy.
trooper, and he slept, and they took the couch. He gave them the couch, and we all crammed in and slept. And it wasn't till the morning when he started upping it. We were doing all the positions, and she just was
Sure.
like, "Baby said no." Baby was like, yeah, no, I don't want
No.
to. She did not want to cooperate. So, like, I was in all the positions you could possibly be in
Yeah.
with an epidural. With an
Oh,
epidural. So I had the peanut ball. Like, I was, by that point, I think any mom can understand you just don't care anymore as far as like being exposed.
modesty. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
went
It's
out the
kind of out the
window. That was
window.
gone. And it's funny
Mm-hmm.
because her husband was still kind of like, not really
Where
my
do I
wife.
stand? What do I
Exactly.
do?
So he's
Yeah.
like, I'm
Eyes
just
down.
gonna Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So that
Uh-huh.
was
Yeah.
that. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I was like just kind of chuckling, just trying to find the humor in things at that point.
Oh, for
But
sure. Yeah. He was
I,
becoming very familiar with the ceiling tiles and
yes,
the
in
floor.
his
Yeah, for
laptop, he
sure.
was very
Uh-huh.
invested in his laptop. Which I was like, hey, dude, I, I don't care. I really don't.
I
This
love
is
it.
the fifth journey, like fifth baby. I could give two craps, but I could appreciate his side of it.
Absolutely. Yes. No, thank you. Yeah, for
Yeah, so it
sure.
was he kept upping it, but it still just wasn't enough. And by like
Mm.
6 o'clock at night, by this point, honestly, the parents were like, they were like getting antsy almost, like they couldn't
Oh,
sit still.
sure.
So like they went out, they had lunch. I think they got a hotel room and slept a couple hours. Um, and we were kind of sitting there and it was like 5 o'clock and I'm like, hey, you guys should probably just start heading back. I think by that point I was like 6 or 7 centimeters. I was like, just head back, play it safe, like come on back.
Yeah.
And the doctor came in and he's like, well, you're at like, I don't remember the dosage, but he's like, let's say you're at 6 now, we're gonna bump you up to 10.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, you've been upping me like one every 4 hours and now you want to take me up. Oh, all right, whatever, go for it. So he broke my water, upped me to 10. It went really quick from there. it went it went really quick from there because then he upped me and then the nurse came in and she's like, hey, do you want to try another position? And at this point, thank God for this OB, he let me eat the entire time.
Oh,
Any of my other
sure.
babies, I was never allowed to eat in labor ever. This
Yeah.
doctor, I made sure to ask because I was like, look, I have to, obviously, I have gestational diabetes. Can I eat like food or do I have to still do the protein? He's like, no, you can eat what you want.
Oh.
Chipotle, I had a donut.
Chipotle.
Um, oh, I smashed a burger from Culver's. Like I was eating all the foods. So I
Oh
was
my
so thankful because
gosh.
if I wouldn't have been able to eat, I don't know if I would have had the energy to push. Like
Well, yeah, sure.
because
I
that
mean,
took so much longer than any of us anticipated.
yeah.
So we, so the nurse comes in after he upped my Pitocin. Granted, this is like already at 8:30 at night. And she's like, hey, do you want to try a new position? And I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and put me on my side with the peanut between my legs because that is the one position I remember with my last two kids. It was very quick after that.
Uh-huh.
Like I remember them almost like just
Sure.
shooting
Coming
right
right
out.
on out.
So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, put me on my side. We'll do this. And at this point, the dad, he was sitting on the couch, he was doing, I think, some work. And the intended mom, she's like, I'm gonna go for a walk. And, we're still kind of waiting because at this point we were all just waiting around. So I
Sure.
was like, okay,
Sure.
whatever. Probably 30 minutes later, I am breathing heavily. I am breathing through contractions. I am feeling everything. And my husband yelled at me after the fact, but he's like, you gave us no warning. Like, you gave us zero. I was like, I was just trying to breathe. Like, I was just trying to
Right.
focus on like, I couldn't talk. And like, you should have known if once I start making noises, like, it's serious. If I was literally
Oh,
sleeping on and off the entire time I was on that epidural. So, like, all of a sudden now I'm like breathing. They were back to
it was go
back.
time. It was go
Oh
time.
my gosh. And all of a sudden I'm like,
Yeah.
and I literally was like, she's in my butt. This, so I literally looked at my husband. I was like, Richard, go get the nurse. Rich, get your wife back here right now. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so he's like, what? What? I was like, call her. And so he's on the phone. He's like, you need to come up here now. My husband ran out into the hallway, grabbed the nurse. The nurse came in. She didn't even have to check me. The baby's head was there.
Oh my gosh.
I really waited a second.
Oh my god.
So they're like, oh, so they're all, she's flipping me onto my back.
Oh, sure.
She,
It's now
she,
just chaos.
right. So now
Organized chaos.
all the nurses are coming in. They're trying to call the doctor. He was not on the floor. And the doctor on rotation, she's not even an OB. I think she was like an ER doctor, was on rotation for OB, and she was there. She was coming in, and she's like, the nurse is like, "Oh, let's do some practice pushes." I'm like, "No, these are going to be real
No.
pushes. Like, I remember how to push. I know what it feels like." So but she was very insistent. So I was like, "Okay, I'll give you some practice pushes." I gave her one practice push, and she yelled at me to
Oh
stop
no.
because the baby's head started coming out. And I was like,
Oh no, no,
I don't
no.
know but at this point, like, there was just so much pressure. I was not sobbing, but like tears were just streaming down my face between the
Sure,
pain
there's
and the
just a
pressure.
lot. Yeah, there's a lot
I
going on.
never
Yeah,
had that reaction
absolutely.
before though. So I was almost like mad at myself, like trying to like stop it.
Oh,
Now you're
Heather.
focused. We're focused because I think it really also started to hit me like this is about to be over.
Yeah.
And mind you, there is a lot of mental prep that goes into something like this, but at the same time, it's still a journey. It's still, carrying
Yeah.
a baby. It's still all the things. So I think it started also to kind of hit me like, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God, she's about to be here. Like I was having all the feels all at once,
Sure.
mid-delivery. Not the greatest timing. So so the doctor yelled at me to not push. They're still trying to call the OB. He's like, "I'll be there in a minute." And she's like, "No, you need to come now. The baby is
Right.
coming out." They're yelling at me not to push. And I was like, I'm sure you've heard of fetal ejection. Like she was coming whether anyone wanted her to or
Right.
not.
Like you
Like
can't, there's nothing more you
yeah.
can do. Yeah.
So and they realize that. So they're like, "Okay, well, let's try to control this because," and mind you, they're still like the mom came in, they were gowning her up because she was originally supposed to catch the baby. Um,
Oh.
so they were gowning her up. My husband was up by my head trying to calm me down and trying to, be there for me.
Yeah.
And the dad was hiding. he, he was
Oh,
hiding. He
sweet
actually almost
dad.
missed it because he ran to go get a drink. And I was like, "Dude, we don't have time for this. What are you doing?"
No, like yeah,
Yeah.
but by that point, there's no like
Yeah.
there's no
So
reasoning
like
there.
he
Yeah.
he ran in. He's like, "Did I miss it?" I'm like, "Almost." Like
I love
it
it.
was chaos. It was not organized chaos. It was chaos. And so they told me to push and I started pushing and then they yelled at me to stop because her head was halfway out. I'm like, they let go of my legs and they told me to stop because I think it was all happening so fast. They were trying to keep me from tearing. And I grabbed my legs and I was like, "I can't. There is no stopping. Like, we can't stop." I literally grabbed my legs and I pushed her head out. And so the doctor, again, not the OB, literally jumped in there to catch her head and to make sure like the cord
Oh,
wasn't wrapped around. And then
sure.
literally they told me to do the last push. The OB walked in the room.
Awesome. Awesome. Just in time.
He walked in the room. I pushed her. She came out. Um, and she was like grayish blue a little bit, but they put her on. Of course, she still attached me. So they had to put her on me as they were cleaning her off and rubbing her, making
Sure.
sure she was all good. Um, but yeah, then the doctor kind of took over and it was a little bit of an out of body experience only
Yeah.
because it did happen so like the pushing aspect happened so fast.
Yeah.
I didn't like it was like my mind didn't have time to process. And also it was like, "Oh, she's here." And
Hmm.
a part of me was like, "Baby," but then also like she has to go to them. So
Yeah.
like, they put the baby in her arms and she tried to walk away with the baby and my placenta still wasn't out. So they were
Nope.
like, "No, no, no,
Stay
stay,
here. Stay
stay."
here.
Yeah, so like she had to almost like stay on top of me and they're like yelling at her to stay and it was it was just so yeah, it was an out of body experience. Like I didn't know
Hmm.
how to process it. And then as they were taking care of me, of course, then, they took the baby and made sure she was all good.
Yeah.
And I tried to focus while all that was going on, there's just an instinct that kicks in and you kind of want to focus on where's the baby? Is she okay? What's going on? And I try to keep my focus on me and the doctor and my husband, because he
Hmm.
was still so focused on just me, making sure I was okay. Because I also had the shakes super bad. I
Yeah,
do get the
sure.
shakes. So like I was like uncontrollably teeth chattering, all the things. Hormones
Mm-hmm,
were not nice to me. So
mm-hmm.
so it was just when I kind of like came back into myself, I looked at the doctor and I'm like, "You missed it."
Oh my
And
gosh.
he's like, "I was going pee." I'm like, "Don't you know you're not allowed to do that at work?" Like,
Come on now,
what are we doing? He's like, "You couldn't have waited." I said, "Nope."
buddy.
It was funny because we called him out on it. But no, the baby was perfect. She was perfectly healthy. All her blood sugars came back amazing. Um,
Yeah.
it was, it was, it just, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. Like it just was.
Yeah.
Whew, it was a lot, and it was a lot
I
to
mean, it's
process.
beautiful. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot to process. It is, but I think it's interesting that you say, kind of you had this instinct to be like, where's the baby? Is baby okay?
Hmm.
And then, but like for you to be able to look and be like, baby's exactly where she's supposed to be.
Yes.
She's
Yep.
with mama. And
Yep.
like, and again, I mean, to see that, to
Hmm.
experience that, and to be like, look at that family. I did that.
It is. It is. And I don't know if this makes me a little whatever, but there is a very real sense of pride in that,
Yes.
knowing that like I was able to do that for someone, and
Yeah.
together we created this beautiful healthy baby girl, and she was perfect. And just
Mm,
there was a very overwhelming sense of pride and accomplishment, and like we crossed the finish line, and we were
yeah.
all it all ended very well. um so yeah, it was very humbling experience.
Yeah. Well, it's really, I mean, I love you said it so beautifully. Getting to have the opportunity to go back to the hospital and kind of have that closure
Hmm.
of
Yes,
getting to
perfect
hold
word, closure.
her.
Yes.
Yes, you got to hold
Yes.
her. You got to see her with her
Hmm.
parents, and you guys
Hmm.
kind of got to have that moment together as that
Yeah, we
unit that,
bonded. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then, you go home and life kind of keeps moving forward. And you said, you're in labor and it's all hitting you and you're like, oh my gosh, this is ending.
Hmm.
And yes, this chapter of it is
Yes.
coming to an end, and now there's this new chapter. Whether you're pumping or not, there's still this
Hmm.
new chapter of, you guys again had built such a beautiful relationship that you are seeing those pictures and you're getting those videos of the giggles and all of those things. And it's this new part of
Yes.
the journey that is so beautiful and
Yes.
just so, I mean, something to just celebrate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, I have two questions, my final two questions for you. Reflecting on just everything,
Hmm.
what is a piece of advice that you would give to any woman who is thinking about doing this journey?
Ask all the questions. Do
Yeah.
not hold back. I can't stress communication, not just between your IPs, not just between your independent parents, but with the agency as well, the lawyer, the psychologist, the doctors. Like, ask all the questions that you could possibly have, because there are some weird things that can pop up. There's a
Yes.
lot of rules when you're even just going through, the shots and the pills and the all the hormones to get to transfer day. Like, there is a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things that the doctor will be like, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that." And you're like,
Sure.
"I don't like being told I
Sure.
can't do things."
So
I don't like being
let's
told what
find
to
out
do.
why. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So
So
let's find
ask,
out
write a
why.
list. I would put questions in my little notepad on my phone all the time. Like,
Yeah.
ask all the questions. Any and everything, even if you think it is
There's
dumb
no
and
dumb question.
irrelevant.
There's no dumb question.
I
Yeah.
agree. Like, you need to ask those questions because it will eventually come up later, and you will probably be like, man, I should have asked this when I had the
Mm,
chance, and now I'm in the thick of it. And I mean,
yeah.
it's relevant to everything.
Sure. You don't know what you don't know. So let's find out.
Correct.
Yeah,
And there is so
absolutely.
much that you don't know until you know, until you are in it.
Yeah.
And now you're like, "Oh, wow, I didn't
Well,
know. I didn't think."
prime
How
example, you're
would
four
you?
kids later and you're like, yep, nope, we're learning and doing new things.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, I love that. No, for sure. Be curious. And
Yes.
like it's good to be curious.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Don't be
Definitely.
afraid
But
to Google. Don't believe everything, but don't be afraid to Google.
Google's a good start, and then make
Google's
sure
a good
you're
start.
going to the good resource. Yes,
But
absolutely.
also your best resource is going to be your doctors and your points of contact, because
Yeah.
they are at the end of the day the ones who are going to be, guiding your medical journey. They're going to be guiding your pregnancy. They're going to be, they're going to be the ones who are helping you with all the bumps and the
Yes.
tests.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, while you can start online, make sure you end with the people that actually are a part of your team.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I couldn't have said it better myself. I love that. Okay, my final question. For anyone who knows me, they know that I have a very codependent relationship on coffee. And so, uh, coffee and I are best friends. But I always love to ask, what was the thing that filled your cup today? Literally or figuratively, how was your cup filled today?
Hmm, that's a great question. I am not a coffee drinker. I am a tea drinker all the way.
I can respect
Um,
that. I can respect
I
that.
love me some tea, and that was also another bonding thing that we I got to do with my intended mommy. She's a big tea drinker too, so we were able
Oh,
to
I love it.
we were able to bond over that. But oh gosh, for today. I think my husband,
Oh.
he's just so supportive, and he's going through his own little trials and tribulations right now, and just being able to support him how he has supported me. I think I
Mm.
love that we can kind of just be that for each other.
That's beautiful. No, I love that. I love that. I mean, just overall, like shout out to the partners and just all of those support people because
And
you
it's
can't
funny
do this
because
without it.
no, and it's I don't want to knock anything, but when you are going through the application process and they ask you, who is your support system? Does your spouse or your significant other support your decisions? Like, in the moment, you're like, what does it really matter if I want to do this? I want to do this. No, it matters. Like,
Yeah.
having him as my constant, as my rock, going to appointments with me, like how he handled being in the hospital with me. I've never seen that side of my husband before. So like, it
Mm.
I feel like it brought us so much closer together. Again, this isn't our baby, so it's not like we were bonding over the baby, but we were able to bond over the pregnancy and then the postpartum. Like, it showed us a different side of each other that we hadn't seen before, because we don't have kids
Yeah.
together. And for us, I think that was the one of the more rewarding things for mine and his relationship for through all of this,
Yeah.
because it really was like, I just was like looking at him in hospital. I'm like, you're my perfect. Like, and I just loved it. It was just,
Oh,
I can't praise him enough. He was my rock.
I love that. I love that. Shout out to you, Richard. Oh my gosh. That's
So yeah,
amazing.
I think, yeah, now being able to be there for him through what, he's switched jobs. So being able to help him through that, I think has been,
Yeah.
it's like, I got you now.
I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. Heather, thank you so much for just sharing your story and being vulnerable with us. And I mean, talking about just all of the things. And I'm so grateful for you. I love that you and I get to have kind of this full circle moment together.
Yes.
Yes.
Hopefully again.
And hopefully again. Oh my gosh. Yes. I cannot wait. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
No, thank you.